By now, you've probably heard my magic wand story. It's a brand that's been part of my personal journey for more than 20 years. But no matter how many times I sing Magic Wand's praises, I'll never be able to fully capture the story of this incredible brand. Well, now journalist and author Kate Sloan just completed a limited audio series documenting the history and impact that Magic Wand has created over the last 56 years. It's called Making Magic. And the series chronicles Magic Wand's incredible brand story through interviews with nearly 40 experts, performers, business owners, educators, and fans. So I got a sneak preview of the series, and what I loved is that Kate weaves together snippets from all their interviews into this amazing story arc. She covers Magic Wand's journey from appliance store massager to its legendary influence on culture and sexual independence, and it's all just fascinating. The first episodes of Making Magic are available now at makingmagicseries.com or on all popular podcast platforms. Just search for Making Magic or visit makingmagicseries.com today.
If you use two hands on a man's penis, he is going to feel like he has the biggest penis in the world.
I think a lot of girls assume it's all about the deep throat. It's
No.
not. It's really not.
But first of all, what if you're not into it? What if you're like, ugh, but it smells bad, it tastes bad. We get it all the time.
Absolutely. I think that
And
a lot of girls...
do you guys enjoy it when you're doing this?
This is the thing. I think that a main reason people don't like to do something is because they don't know how to do it or they're not good at it. So I say practice makes perfect.
Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. On today's show, I'm joined by Alex Cooper and Sophia Franklin from the popular podcast Call Her Daddy. And we're talking about oral sex tips on both sides and why we all need to speak up a bit more in the bedroom. I'm also answering your emails. Topics include, what is the gluck gluck 9000 and how do you do it? So your partner is overly religious. How do you respect their faith and also get sexual? You're a woman who comes super fast, ways you can slow things down and enjoy sex longer. And you just can't stop thinking about your ex. How do you stop the thoughts and focus on your current partner? All this and more. Thanks for listening.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's gotta have her standards. Oh my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, I feel so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, check out sexwithemily.com. You're going to love our site. A lot more information on there to help you have the sex life, the relationship, the dating life that you all want and deserve. You can also find me Monday through Friday on SiriusXM Satellite Radio. It stars Channel 109. It's 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific, and it's been awesome. You guys should totally call in. You can call in any night. Even if you don't have Sirius, you can call in 888-947-8277 or get a free 30-day trial at sexwithemily.com/SXM. And find us on all social media, wherever you're at. It's at Sex with Emily across the board. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy the show. Oh, I'm so excited. My sexy guest just walked in.
Hello.
This is exciting. Okay, you guys, I have my guest, Sophia Franklin, and Alex Cooper. We've had some technical, it's been like Mercury's in retrograde in the studio the entire night so far.
Okay.
But it's only been 20 minutes, so it's all going to work out. They do an awesome podcast called Call Her Daddy. It's at Call Her Daddy. It's a podcast. You can find it everywhere. Call Her Daddy. It's Barstool Sports. They play it on the air on SiriusXM.
Yep.
It airs at 11 p.m. Eastern on Barstool Radio Channel, and it's available on demand on the SiriusXM app. And you guys are a blast. I love being on your podcast.
Yes.
But it'll come out soon. I get
It
it.
will.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, which is great. But last time I got to ask you something. Sophia, the delayed ejaculator. Just give me an update.
Oh my God. Oh my
Emily?
God. Wait, that's so crazy you're asking because we recently just discovered.
Emily, so I never talked to him about it, and I ended up talking to him about it, and because we're still dating.
Stop!
We're still dating.
Sorry. Okay.
And you know what? He told me, and you always say, like, to use communication, which I wasn't doing. I never brought it up to him. I just assumed he was...
That was in February. Okay.
Right. So I talked to him about it, and he was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you've just never told me to come. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He was like, you've just never told me to do it. So then I was like, okay, well then show me.
And they had a quickie.
We had a quickie, and he came in like 15 minutes.
I'm shocked.
I
could
know.
hang up my sex hat right now.
I know.
Because a delayed ejaculation, like to recap, you were dating a guy that did not, like he just took forever to come, or he never came. What was it like?
Like it was
Forever.
It was a 2 to 3 hour situation.
Exhausting.
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm tired again hearing
Yeah,
that. Like,
right.
no
like
one
you don't even need to work out.
Yeah.
Like the sex is your workout
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
So it's kind of like a twofer, but
Which it was fun. I mean, it was fun, but there were times where I was like, okay, I can't be doing 2 to 3 hours every single time.
No, it's exhausting.
So finally, you're just like, hey,
I brought it up to him, which I wasn't bringing it up, which was, my fault. But I brought it up and he was like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, I could come in 5 minutes if you want. And I was like, well, then show me. And he showed me.
I gotta say, this guy's just been elevated because a lot of guys don't have that kind of control.
I know.
Yeah. So he's
a
just on
unicorn.
another
Good.
level.
He is a unicorn. Okay, so Alex, anything dating?
Oh, you
What do
know
I need
what?
to know?
I've been dating almost a lot. We always joke we're like research purposes.
Yes. Mhm.
And I think it's
That never gets
terrifying
old.
to some guys, and we've talked about it with you, where it's like they know that I have this podcast, and so when I'm going out on dates, some of them try to pretend they don't know I have the podcast. It's 2019. You stalk people before you go on dates. You know I have this show. So recently I've been dating a guy that I think he was right up front and said, I've listened and I think it's hilarious. And it's been way more successful than the guys that are like, so what do you do for a living?
Right, and the guys
I'm like,
that
I talk
do
about
that,
sex.
and the guys that do that, it always comes out.
It always
like
comes out.
They'll say something that you're like, you would only know that from
Exactly.
listening.
I think we talked about the guy's like, I don't listen. Like, well, your mom in Florida. I'm like, how do you know my mom's in Florida?
There you
How
go.
the fuck do you know that? Like, if
It's
you don't listen to my show.
crazy.
So that's good. So that's what you want. You want someone to be down with what you're doing.
Yeah, totally. Well, it
Okay, do
definitely-
you like him?
I do. I think I've realized that going into this business, it's going to take a very confident man to be with us.
Very.
Because they're so insecure. If you hear about our show, you have to have some big kahunas to take it on.
Absolutely.
So,
and you'll be able to find them. I mean, I told you this. This is still, and you guys get this. I feel like they're like we're all in the same boat.
I know.
Yeah.
Every day I get asked this, the same thing. Is it hard? And I've met guys that it's not a problem. You're always going to meet the guys. Like, they're going to be confident. They're going to be, you'll meet a man.
Yes,
And I'll be like,
agree.
yeah, they talk about sex. They're hilarious. I appreciate their art, what they do. They're amazing. And I'm great. We're gonna have amazing chemistry, and
Exactly.
I'm gonna give her what she wants.
And if you can't handle it, then it wasn't meant to be
not your
anyways.
dude, not attractive.
Exactly.
Okay, so how's your sex life going though? Like, I need to know, like, what's tell me about it. What's great about it?
I think that my sex life actually has gotten even better because of the
so
podcast.
much better. So much
I was just gonna
better.
ask you guys.
Yeah. So naturally, like, I know some girls, which we try to get our audience to talk more about sex, and I know you do too. It's like there are so many girls that are so upset because they don't have girlfriends that they can be like, wait, how do you give him a blowjob? And what are you doing when you're on top?
Yeah.
And so because we're so open about it, and even more open because it's our show and it's our job now to talk about it, we have been, I think, exploring more options so that on Wednesday we can give people
You
the
have to
rundown.
have a story. Okay, so that makes so much sense. So your sex life actually, because you
It's
guys
gotten
give
better.
I mean, absolutely. And we're having to sit there and be like, okay, so like what made this one experience so amazing? What made this sex so great? So we're sitting there kind of detail by detail going
Tell me the
through
latest.
it.
Okay, so when I started my podcast, it was like before I was even like went to school for sex. I was just like, when people would tell me they had amazing sex, I'm like, back up. What does that mean? So is that what you guys are like?
Yeah, I think
I love that.
The
It's so
first,
good.
It is good. I think the first thing that we really hit with our audience was blowjobs, and because we realized. You're graphic on this.
No,
but like,
dude, yes.
okay,
Not
but
a
like,
lot of girls know how to give a blowjob.
Yes.
They just don't.
And I think that we always say, listen, like you're not going to not get a man because you're not good in bed, but sex is a huge part of our relationship. And so we taught girls how to do what we call as the gluck 9000.
I don't think I know this.
Okay, it is it's the double hand twist gawk combo.
It's every man's kryptonite.
I'm done.
Emily, these girls are writing in saying, "Oh my god,
this has changed my life. This has changed
Can
my
we
guy's
please do
life."
the gluck? Did you guys? Did you make this up?
It's
Did
on
you-
Urban Dictionary now.
People wrote it in now.
You can look it up.
Yeah. So basically, I think a lot of girls did not know how to give a blowjob. So we started with the basics and we went so into detail: what to do with your hands, what to do with your mouth, the sloppiness, the saliva. Girls don't know how to give blowjobs, and I swear,
How
if
do
you
you
can
know
give
they
a
don't?
blowjob,
You know what?
because I watch their soul leave them when I give it. So I'm like, oh my god! No, I'm kidding.
Okay, but from personal experience, I didn't know, and Alex told me about the gluck, and then I tried it, and this guy was like, What? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
What is it? Tell me.
So
I wish we had a
so
toy in
basically
here.
the gluck,
hands.
Yeah, the gluck is
hands.
contingent upon the hands, and we always tell girls like, if you use 2 hands on a man's penis, he is going to feel like he has the biggest penis in the world. Yeah. And the thing is even small penises, you can use 2 hands.
Are you sure?
You just use your index finger and your thumb, and then you just get bigger
fingers.
each. As the penis gets bigger, the more fingers you put on it,
so even
and the
like
more
this.
grip. So if it's a small penis, your index finger and your thumb come together, and then your left and your right hand, you go on top. And then you're going double,
twisting, like
you're
the double hand
twisting
twist.
In opposite directions.
So there's a 3,000 where you go in the same direction, and then the 9,000 you take your hands and you go in opposite directions.
Yeah, I think a lot of girls assume it's all about the deep throat. It's
No.
not. It's really
So,
not.
I think the sloppiness is one of the biggest things that we've taught girls, and they had no idea. We're like, the wetter that thing is, you need to act like you're in the desert dying for water, and his dick is a bottle of Poland Spring.
Yeah.
And you are dying for that dick.
Yeah.
And I know it's graphic.
No.
I know it's graphic.
We're being graphic.
But
Alex, you're
we're
not
gonna get
dying.
kicked
But
off
you guys
out there.
enjoy. No, you guys, it's seriously.
Okay, we're allowed to.
You're going to get kicked off. It's a sex with
But-
sex. No, But first of all, what if you're not into it? What if you're like, ugh, but it smells bad, it tastes bad. We get it all the time.
Absolutely. I think that
And
a
do you
lot
guys
of girls
enjoy it when you're doing this?
This is the thing. I think that a main reason people don't like to do something is because they don't know how to do it or they're not good at it. So I say practice makes perfect. Start practicing. Just say like, I want to try something on you, babe. Tell me if you like this. Because every guy is getting very, very average head on a day-to-day basis. Girls are just like doing one motion the whole time, going up and down.
Are they? I mean, I just never.
Of girls.
a lot of girls.
No, I'm trying to think. I just.
Yeah.
The
I think
feedback
that you're
we
doing
get,
a good service then. Because if they don't, you should use hands, you use
A
your
lot
mouth,
of
use
girls.
play with the balls.
They don't even know
tickle
to play with
tip.
the balls.
Do you guys
Right.
know about the frenulum, the underside of the penis? Like, this is for the tip, so here's the penis. Like, so this is the tip.
We're using a
fucking
Sharpie,
right
everyone.
here. So this is the tip, right? And then where the shaft meets the head, this underside is the frenulum. It's like your new best friend. Can you make it like the friend gluck gluck 2000? But you lick that little circle. Is that part of it? She's like, yes,
yes,
I
yes,
know, Emily.
yes.
And even like
Lick it.
the wiener hole, we joke, but like
wiener
that,
hole.
that is something you should, every part of the penis
wiener
you should
hole.
be stimulating. Even
the
the side of his dick, I've found a lot of guys, if you start licking on the side, they freak out. There's just so many layers that girls are only going up and down and thinking that's a blowjob.
Right.
And I swear, if you start to incorporate the sloppiness, the wetness, it's
Should be
going,
wet.
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
gonna
Use
elevate.
lube. Have you guys used lube?
Oh my gosh,
we brought you some lube too.
Oh,
I know
you
we
did?
Yes,
That makes
of course.
me so happy.
And toys.
Oh,
Because I know
Emily.
when I saw you. Of course.
Thank you.
Emily,
Last
I
time-
actually bought the womanizer because I heard it on your show.
Okay,
And it
and-
changed my life.
Tell me.
It's amazing.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't like vibrators really. I wouldn't have orgasms, and then I tried the womanizer and I'm obsessed.
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
makes me so happy because it's like a clit whisper, I call it. It's
That's
like
amazing.
It like indirectly stimulates your clitoris.
Yeah.
So are you guys, I know first of all, the blowjob thing is amazing. Now, what about oral though? Like, what about guys going down on you?
Okay, the cooch
Can we talk about-
the cooch gobbler combo.
We have the weirdest words. We put titles with everything, so it's
Yeah.
easy to remember. The
Okay.
cooch gobbler combo.
Yes.
Cooch gobbler, okay?
Yeah, so we've told guys kind of exactly how to do it. So many girls were complaining. Guys were just going in there, putting their face in there, and just
Like a
slobbering
dog
all
with
over.
peanut butter.
And we were like, women's clits are sensitive. So many guys don't understand that. And we gave them a play-by-play. The cooch gobbler is like the figure 8 motion with your tongue. We told guys to hum on a girl's clit is actually like a great feeling.
And make out with it.
Make out with it. Start slow
Yes.
is the huge thing.
Yeah, you always got to start slow.
I think a lot of guys didn't know the humming on the clit, which is, again, it has to be done very correctly.
But it
and
feels
not
great.
every woman's going to.
Not every-
so
no,
tricky because
totally.
every woman's different.
Yes.
And that's the thing we tell guys. So it's start doing something, and if you feel
And
her
check
body
in,
tense,
check in.
yes. And guys, I think, are just as insecure, even if not more, when they go down on a woman than a woman going down on a man. A guy doesn't, with his ego, he doesn't want to be wrong. He goes down there, he thinks he knows what he's doing. Sometimes he doesn't want to ask. They're at least our age
you like if he asked-
specifically.
yeah, would you
I
like if he
love
asked-
when a guy's like, "Babe, do you like that?" Absolutely, I'll tell
So
him.
do you feel like guys do ask or they don't ask enough?
I don't think they do.
I don't think guys ever ask.
So we're telling guys
Younger
now
guys.
to okay, they should
They
should
should be
ask.
asking.
Younger guys do
But
not
then they don't
ask.
want to feel insecure.
Right.
That they don't want to feel insecure like there's nobody right. Like they're like, I gotta know the way. I'm a guy. I don't ask for directions. I already know what to do. There's a
Right.
clitoris. I gotta
No.
know. They're like,
Right.
no, I don't even know.
It is so hot when a man makes you know he wants you to come and he's going to do whatever it takes. And so if it means communicating with you, fine. I'm going to ask you, look up at you. How does that feel? Do you want more stimulation on the clit? Do you want me to finger you, etc.?
So are there any fantasies you guys are into? Like things you want as like next level stuff you want to try? Anything like you fantasize about or like
I kind of have been into like the daddy-daughter stuff. I think
Like
is kind of fun,
role-playing?
which people don't like to talk about that. But I mean, our podcast is called Call
It
Her
is
Daddy.
Call Her Daddy.
People
Okay, you
are-
guys,
yeah.
Call Her Daddy is their podcast. You have to check it out. It's also here on Barstool Sports at 11 o'clock on Saturdays 11.
now, yeah.
And Call Her Daddy. So that's hot, though. Why don't people want to talk about it?
Right.
Yeah, people
like
think
daddy,
it's
daughter.
perverse. And that's the thing we always say. It's
You
like
got to get over that.
fantasies don't mean you actually want that in real life. Like,
Right.
we've talked about rape fantasies with you. What did
Right.
you
Oh,
you?
did talk about it.
Yeah.
Forced sex?
Yeah, forced entry. That's it. Forced sex.
It's like you're role playing.
not consensual sex.
Yeah, it's like role playing, and it doesn't mean
We haven't
you
talked
know?
about that on our show yet, but that's
Should.
our plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is like I think you guys should because I think it's so interesting that people. Yeah, right. Not all fantasies are actually you want to get enacted, but the reason why role playing is great, it's like it's in the privacy of your home. I mean, with your partner, but also it's like why do you like it, Sophie? If you could explain it, like it's hot to be like the little girl. Like to explain what goes on.
Yeah, but dominant.
I know, just him being dominant and
Which is
him
what most
being,
women want.
right? And that's like what they want. Do I really?
Call it
am I,
teacher, call
am
it
I
whatever.
really thinking my dad? Absolutely
No.
not. It's the dominant
It's
thing,
like when
and
you
him
dress
taking
up.
charge. Him
Right.
taking charge.
Which is
of
like the top
bedroom.
fantasy for women is that men that they're dominated, that their
Right.
partner dominates them.
That's the same thing with the forced sex, right?
Yes.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We want to feel like with that whole thing with like the rape fantasy or the non-consensual sex. It's not that we want all those things. It's just that we women have the desire to feel like a man can't do any, he can't handle himself.
Yeah.
He wants to ravish us. He loves us so. He just,
Yeah.
everything. He just wants us. Needs to grab us and throw us down. And
Totally.
We don't want to be hurt
100%.
per se.
Yeah.
but we want to be the object of their affection.
We always say on our show, we're like, listen, if it feels good, don't deny it if you like it. There are so many guys that are afraid to talk about, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
being stimulated in their anus. And it's
Yeah.
like, but if it
yeah.
makes you come, why are you acting like, oh, that's gay or whatever? If it's not gay, straight, whatever it is, if it feels good, do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Have you guys had a guy to ask you to do that? Have you pegged anyone, a man?
I haven't pegged anyone, but
No.
I've definitely
Played around
played
there.
around with
finger
the
in?
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
finger,
Do you guys talk about
mouth.
that every time? How do you guys test that with a guy putting a finger
I usually do it
in their
obviously.
anus?
I usually do it during like a blow job,
Right.
and I'll start to just kind of ease there and play it on the outside, and then maybe start to go in a little
Yeah.
bit. And I've had guys, usually they'll be very upfront if they don't want it.
Right. They're like,
You
oh
know?
no, don't go
They're
there.
like, no, I'm not
I think
into that.
also the licking. I know some girls are so grossed out, but like when you go down near the taint area, I find like a lot of men love that. And
Yeah.
so if they stop you, totally, but I'm like totally down for
Yeah,
it.
go lick around that whole area. I love that
yeah.
you got the whole thing with all the hands and the
Because
the
it turns
lots of
me
sucking.
on to turn him on. And that's why I think giving a blowjob is so hot to me. It's like you can make it hot because you're watching him. Like you own him in that moment.
Yeah.
Like you
Exactly.
can do whatever you want and he's going to love you for it. And so it's hot.
I
And
love your
explore
confidence around
options.
that because we get a lot of calls from women on the show. People call in. You guys can call us 888-947-8277. Call her daddy.
Call her daddy.
Awesome women here. And they say like, I just don't like it. How do I get into it? Kind of like they either had a bad experience, someone told them they were bad, or it grossed them
Oh,
out.
no.
And it's like, think about it. It is like you. First of all, you're in the power position.
Yep.
And you're like, this is an extension of this person that I love or I like enough to have sex with.
Yep.
And you just look at it like it's another part of it, and you get
Yeah.
into it. And
Right,
You're like,
yeah.
I'm there. I'm one with your penis. I'm licking it.
Yeah.
I'm sucking it. And I would love to like just tell women that it's not like if you can get out of your head and just be like, this is something I'm pleasing him.
Yeah.
And the more you're doing it, you realize like you're doing the right. When enthusiasm is like the number one tip.
Oh yeah,
It's-
that's
yeah.
huge. Is the enthusiasm
It
like
is.
the Poland Springs and you're in the desert?
Look like you're dying for that dick. No, but
Dying
seriously,
for that
whenever
dick.
I talk to my guy friends, he's like, listen, every guy loves a blowjob, but it is kind of shitty when you look down and this girl looks like she wants to fall
Like she's
asleep.
miserable
She'd
or she's
rather-
miserable.
Does that happen? You hear that from
Yeah.
guys that she's
Yeah.
like,
Yes. And it's
whatever.
like, okay, well, let's just have sex then because this is boring.
Right.
So, show that you're into it. Imagine if you saw your guy going down on you and he's like falling asleep.
He's done
or
that.
He's just,
Not my guy. But
Right.
Well,
Oh,
historically.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
do you feel like guys, boy, I think it's the same thing. Like if a guy goes down and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then he goes down and he's like 2 seconds. Like he does like lick, and then he's done.
comes back up.
What are you
what
doing?
does that do? That did nothing for me. Zero things that did.
We call those little
You
bitch
could maybe
boys.
a sandwich, right? Bitch you got to
boy.
lick down.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
But you like it. You guys like receiving oral.
Oh my
Oh my
god,
God.
100%.
Right? Like,
Give it
do
to me
you
all
require
day.
it? Do you tell, like, go down to me first?
Absolutely. If that would be like a deal breaker for sure.
Yeah.
If a guy
Yeah.
said he wouldn't.
I think for
Absolutely.
sure, 100% almost.
Yeah.
Almost 100.
Like if a guy is not, especially because of how much I'm reciprocating
Yes.
oral, like if you're
Yeah.
not going to go down on me, then I don't. Really.
Right. Why would you? It's like a
Right.
quid pro quo. I'm trying to
Right.
think if it's like, if there's a kind of a blowjob, it's like a
Yeah.
quid blow quo.
Well, I also find like when I am so giving, as you would say, in these blowjobs, like I find guys then are more eager to go down on me and like want to give the
That's
same amount of
right.
energy. So it's
Yeah.
great.
I'm afraid for you guys to be single now and dating. Like, look what you're talking. Jesus, you know what I mean?
Wait,
Guys
scared
are like,
why?
just because I want you guys to be safe here in New York, talking about giving the best blowjobs ever. That's
Trust me,
all.
my
They're
parents are
adorable.
scared,
No,
too.
I don't know. My parents were. I just like.
Yeah.
New
No,
York's
it's a
a big
lot.
place. It's awesome though.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, so you guys have kind of gotten into toys. You said you did the womanizer, but then didn't you do a show? You talked about getting into toys, or
So yeah, we talk about all of them. I think a lot of people have never used butt plugs, which is like
That's
girls are like,
huge.
oh my God, I'm so scared. It's like,
Yeah.
no. We try to explain to girls it's not scary. Butt plugs are great. Vibrators, clit stimulators.
Yeah.
And we've kind of tried them all.
Yeah.
what's your favorite? Well, womanizer.
The womanizer is great.
amazing.
I think the butt plugs is huge because a lot of girls don't know if you're having your clit stimulated and you have something in your ass.
Yeah.
Like your orgasm feels so amazing because
Yeah.
of kind of like that fullness.
Yeah,
That you
exactly.
have. We talk to a lot of girls that are like college. There's even a little bit of
Yeah.
high school and early 20s, and a lot of people don't know this
Oh,
stuff.
you guys, I'm so glad they have
So it's
you.
like-
they don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of
at
people
all.
don't even have vibrators, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm scared
Right.
to order it because I'm connected to my parents' credit card."
We
and I'm
get
like,
asked this
"Oh
all
my
the time.
God."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do with your parents' credit card? They're like, can
Oh
I
my
use
God,
your
have
Amazon
it,
account?
have it sent to your friend's
Exactly.
house. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Work around it. Work
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
Or go buy your own. It's like,
Yeah.
we bought you some toys too.
Oh my God,
What
I'm
toys-
so
And we got you some
excited.
fun things. I know.
Yeah.
So what else has happened lately? Like sex thing? Anything new? You said you're being guinea pigs. What else have you tried? I need to know.
Guinea pigs. What else have we been trying?
I mean, just
Because like every
dating.
Wednesday, you've like the pressure, right? You're like,
It's definitely a lot of, but it's so exciting because we have so many people writing in stories. We had a girl write in, actually, she was into like BDSM with this new guy, and then recently she walked into his apartment and he was like, take off all your clothes, go into my junk drawer, take that marker and write all over yourself what you want me to do to me. So like she wrote in her inner thighs, like bite me and like lick me, and then like on her tits she wrote stuff,
we've
on her
never heard
ass
that one.
she was like, daddy's little cum, whatever. We're like, oh shit. And she said it was the craziest sex ever. And it was great because she wrote all this stuff all over herself, and it was another form of foreplay.
it is enough. And the
And
words
like
are
dressing
so
up.
hot. I mean,
So hot. So
that's
I
really-
never thought of that.
No, that's a really good one. So you could do
Really
that, but
hot.
permanent marker or just regular marker? You said.
It ended up being permanent marker,
Oh,
and
so-
she had to go on like a beach trip the next day with her family, and she was like,
dude, that's the
Yes,
best
she
story
like faked
ever.
the flu, and she was like, "Oh my God, I have like daddy's little cum slut above my belly button." I'm like, "I can't go to the family beach trip. I'm sorry, Dad." So she like faked she had the flu. Like, my God,
That is amazing.
So
That's-
good.
You guys, I love you guys. You're awesome. Okay, wait. I have questions to ask you guys, right?
Okay,
This is what we
cool.
ask everyone.
Amazing.
Okay, ready? How would you describe your sex life in 3 words? Each one of you. I could ask you.
oh my gosh. Okay, let me think.
progressive,
Oh, I like that.
fun, and sexy. I know that. I know sexy might sound
Yeah.
lame, but I
No,
think it is.
you're nothing lame about
I
the
would
Call Her
say-
Daddy girls.
I would say wild, adventurous, and like hot, steamy.
Nice.
Okay,
that's
she
4,
got
but I like
4 words.
it. Okay, you can add
I'm
another
pissed.
one. Okay, what's your biggest turn on? One thing.
I think when a guy can finger me really well, that's like the hottest thing. I'm so attracted to a guy that knows how to finger a
He
girl.
knows what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I would say when a guy knows how to give me oral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Big female pleasure. Biggest turn off.
When a guy is clearly so in it to get off and he doesn't care about you getting
Like
off. You can
jackhammering.
tell.
Good
one.
Jackhammer
Yeah.
with the fingers, jackhammer with his dick. You're like, oh my God, I'm just literally like a pocket pussy right
Right,
now.
exactly.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wait, what is yours?
Oh, this is gonna sound super lame, but if he sucks at kissing,
Oh my god,
No,
the
that's a
word.
big kissing is the big word.
immediately I'm like, so is this gonna translate into bed?
Yeah.
I'm
It can,
over
it can,
That's
but you can.
bad.
There's a workaround for that. But I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying. Okay, your number one sex tip.
Confidence. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel confident in that moment, you go in there, you get on top, you ride that thing like an equestrian,
Yeah.
you do your thing,
Right, like-
and you're good.
I would say communicating. Like this guy thought he had delayed ejaculation for 4 months and he didn't.
This is a you guys, we've
Communication.
covered so much on
Yeah.
this, just this little
Crazy,
time here.
yes.
You guys, thank you for being on.
thank
I so
you.
appreciate you both. You've checked out Sophia Franklin, Alex Cooper. It is at Call Her Daddy everywhere.
Yep,
Where else
yep.
do they find you? Right, the podcast.
Call Her Daddy. The podcast comes out every single Wednesday.
Yes.
It's awesome. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into your emails. All right, guys. Love answering your questions. I like when we get to this part of the show. If you have a question you want answered on the show, just go to my website, sexwithemily.com. Click the Ask Emily tab, fill out the short form, and boom. Or you can email feedback at sexwithemily.com. But please, please, please include your name, your age, where you live, and how you listen to the show. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, Jamie, you want to read the email?
This first one comes to us from Pamela, 46, in Ohio. Hi, Emily. I'm a divorced single mom at the young age of 46 and have been in a relationship with a wonderful man. He's 54. He's very, very strong faith and does not believe in premarital sex. He says, I'm different and does not want our relationship based on sex. He asked me why I'm willing to give up the marriage benefit without being married. He's also divorced. I've discussed with him my concerns. I've told him that sexual chemistry is very important to me. I've even asked him about oral sex. He says he's attracted to me and we passionately kiss and make out, but he hasn't even tried to touch my chest or any other body parts. How do I argue with what the Bible says? I'm trying to respect his faith and not seem like a sex-crazed nymphomaniac, but looking for any insight you may have on this matter. I have not experienced anything quite like this before in my previous relationships. Thank you.
All right, Pamela. Okay, here's the deal. I understand that this guy, you've been with him for 6 months, and you're the young age of 46, which I loved. 46 is very young. You have a whole lifetime ahead of you of sex. And he might be a great guy, and you feel like you really know him so far, but you are never going to get him to change his beliefs, especially at 54. It's who he is. And so I just think even the fact that he's not even willing to be touching you right now, you must be like, maybe I should just marry him so I can actually figure out and have sex with him, because he's not giving you what you need right now. And I'm not sure, you can't guarantee that you're going to marry him and you're going to get what you need then either, especially if he's not that into oral sex or even exploring right now. He haven't even touched you at all. So I think you have to really decide, is this guy the one for you? If you've been listening to the show, you know how important sexual communication is, and you know how important it is to give up some beliefs that might no longer serve you and figure out how to be a great partner to yourself and to others. And so I'm not sure he's going to be the guy that's going to be able to even communicate about sex once you are married. I mean, once you tie the knot, what if things aren't as great with him? What if he's not as giving in the bedroom, or he's not able to, to participate sexually because you know that relationships take work, and to keep the sex interesting, you want to keep expanding it and growing. We don't even know any of this yet. It's like you're signing on this dotted line without knowing what you're buying. And that to me is really of concern. I mean, obviously you can't argue what his interpretation of the Bible says. I understand that, but you have to think about your own religion and what you want and what's important to you. It sounds like you are doing all the compromise here and he's not. So you're saying, I'm trying to respect his faith and not seem like a sex-crazed nymphomaniac. There are zero things that make you a sex-crazed nymphomaniac because you want to explore with him sexually before you get married. I mean, the fact that there's not even any touching or oral, or he hasn't touched your nipples yet, I would be jumping out of my skin. So what you could do here is just sit down with him and say that there has to be some give and take here, that you're going to need some more intimacy with him before you can actually decide if you want to walk down the aisle with him. I also don't see what the rush is. 6 months in to me is not enough time to really get to know if he's your guy. Remember, it takes us, sometimes people, the first year, we don't even show our true selves. We just bring our representative. So I think at least a year you'll know more. Have some of these really serious conversations with him so you can figure out if he's a partner for you or not. But I wouldn't jump into it yet, and keep talking. Thank you so much for your email, Pamela.
This next one comes to us from Alexis, 27 in Paris. It is a male. Hi, Emily. I'm contacting you because I haven't had sex in 2 years and I feel like I'm losing my flirting confidence, so I figured that you might help. I'm pretty sure I'm dating material, attractive, sociable, fun, and I pursue many interests like Latin dances, but I constantly have this feeling of being friend-zoned by girls, or maybe it's just my lack of confidence. In your podcast, Balancing Your Sexual Energy, you talked about us having masculine and feminine energies, which made me realize that I'm naturally attracted to women with a very feminine energy, but my dominant energy is feminine as well. I talk about my feelings easily, I listen to my intuition, and I have a lot of empathy. It's ironic because in my life I'm very proactive, and when I dance or when I'm in bed I'm very dominant, masculine energy. I take charge. Unfortunately, I often don't make it to the bedroom because I'm not masculine enough in the flirting process. I know that it's in me naturally, but I just feel like I'm unable to express this side of myself due to the lack of confidence, so it's a vicious cycle. I really want to unleash my masculine energy to better flirt with women. I was hoping you would have some good advice and that it would not only benefit me, but all men who don't feel confident enough to openly flirt at love at first sight. P.S. Your show is awesome.
Thank you, Alexis. And thank you for listening to the show. I really love this question because there's so much about dating that is about our self-confidence and being confident and just to go out there and start talking to people and not second guessing yourself. So that is really real. And I think that you have such a maturity that you're actually noticing this in yourself. And women have it too. We start to second guess ourselves and then we actually keep ourselves from putting ourselves out there and finding what we want. So first, let's talk a little bit about the masculine and the feminine energy. So what I was talking about on that podcast and what I often refer to is we all have masculine and feminine energy, whether a man or a woman. Same-sex relationships, we talk about masculine and feminine. So typically, I think I was saying that I'm more masculine during the day. I run a business, I'm doing a show. And then when I'm sexual, I'm more feminine. So I want to be with a partner who brings the masculine. So you have that polarity in the bedroom. So I think what we're talking about here is you bringing that polarity to your flirting process and once you get into the bedroom. So what you really have to do is practice taking, when you say that you are more masculine, when you're dancing or when you're when you get to bed, when you're in bed, I think the thing you got to do is think about who Alexis is in those moments and then bring that confidence into the room when you're walking up to someone to flirt with them or when you meet someone. Now, typically, the masculine brings the structure, right? The masculine is sort of a container for women to feel safer to express who they are and express their feelings and feel like it's going to be held by a man, right? And so the masculine is receiving feminine energy, and that's sort of nurturing him, and it's a cycle. So the more that a man can hold the energy for a woman, the more that she's feeling his masculine energy because she feels safe around him. So that means that, you feel past her words, you feel past what she's saying, and you just hold a safe space, and that is about breath, and that is about you feeling connected to your body, which actually brings confidence. And so you want to make her feel like you are the kind of guy that she can open up to and flirt with. You sound so evolved to me for your age, especially. And I know you haven't had sex in 2 years. And I feel like the only thing is you getting your practice, just like you practice dance or other things. Remember that flirting and talking to members of the sex that we're attracted to takes work. I mean, it's like a muscle. It's like a muscle. And if we don't use it, we lose it. And the problem is the more we're not doing it, those messages creep in our head like, well, now no one's going to like me. It's been so long. I don't have the confidence. And so I feel like leading with your masculine would just be going up to women. You say that you are definitely talk about your feelings easily, but this would be more listening. And maybe it's also the way you hold yourself. And it's practicing a confident stature before you go into a place and being more in your body and present. So if you do any meditation work, it sounds like you're dancing, so you must be very in touch with your body. And I feel like you're closer than you think. And I think for a lot of men, it really is just, and for women too, it's a practice. So maybe, Alexis, when you're out, you're at parties or you're at an event or you're even in the workplace or, getting lunch at work and you see someone attractive or you see someone you'd like to talk to, just practice talking to them. There's not a pickup line. Those don't work. It's really just in your most confident way saying, great weather we're having. Where'd you get that sandwich from? Literally just asking about something that's happening in the moment, observing something. Like if you're waiting in line for coffee, you can observe something and then you ask a question. I didn't realize they started selling lattes here. Have you had their lattes? They answer a question and then you respond. I mean, you said that you're sociable, you feel like you're attractive. And so I think you've just taken yourself out of the game. So sometimes practicing with people that maybe we're interested in, maybe not, but just exercising that muscle, asking the questions, observing things that are going on, and listening, being a really good listener. That's half the battle. Think of when you meet a new friend or you go somewhere, someone likes you when you're at a party. It's because you're talking, you're exchanging information, and you're truly connecting. So maybe this will also help you take these women that you're flirting with off a pedestal and just realize it is a conversation, and we all want to feel safe. We want to feel heard, and we want to feel that people notice us. So noticing certain details about them and maybe compliments are great too. Compliments something very specific. Like, I really like that color of your eyes. It's a really pretty green. Or even, I like your shoes. I think that you're way closer than you think. I can tell by your email. So just get out of your head. Don't beat yourself up for this, and just start talking to people and continue to do activities you like, things that you're interested in. That's also where we meet more like-minded people. And I think you're going to find that flirting is just there, and it's a natural skill that you already have within you. Thanks, Alexis.
This next one comes to us from Myra, 33, in California. Dear Emily, I love listening to your podcast. I've been married 15 years and we have a good sex life, but the problem is I come way too fast. I'm very kinky and into pretty much anything until I come. Then it's like a bucket of cold water is poured over me. The dirty talk becomes almost annoying at that point, and I cannot wait for him to be done. We're interested in having a threesome, and I love fantasizing about it, but I'm scared that if we go through with it, I will be over it and I will regret it. What can I do to not be completely out of it once I finish?
All right, Myra. Okay, thank you for this question. I think a lot of you are probably going, wait, what? She comes quickly? I wish I could come quickly. Most women don't or even orgasm through sex. So it's not as common, but this definitely happens. And what I'm going to tell you is you have so much potential here to learn to have sex and pleasure in other ways. Now, our first step I'm going to tell you is what I tell a lot of men who come before they want to or come quickly is edging and teasing yourself. Meaning when you're masturbating, or even your partner can do this, they can tease you until you feel like you're about to have the orgasm, and then you bring it back down. You breathe, and then you bring yourself up again, and then you bring yourself down. So you can extend your pleasure and extend your orgasm. So when you finally do come, it's going to be a lot more intense. And so I also think like there's potential for you to also focus on other areas of the body. It sounds like if you have this much, orgasm just from sex, and you are really kinky, I think getting into other areas like power play or BDSM might really help you, just take out the penetration, even take out the genital touching, but maybe some more playfulness with your partner and bringing some more like kink into it, like you said, and not going right for penetration will be great for you. Also, the part about like, when you're done, and you feel like you got cold water poured over your head, that's your brain telling you that. That probably is how you have felt, but that is not how you have to always feel. You really just need to learn to retrain. I suggest that you retrain your brain and your body. And that meaning that when you're done with that orgasm, just breathe into it, okay? Breathe into it, and maybe you start to please your partner at that point. I know you don't really feel like it. You said you're done, but what if you just breathe and see, am I really done? Maybe you have your partner start to touch you in other parts of your body. Fingers off the clitoris, not even the vulva, but maybe they start to tease, your neck or your chest or give you a massage, because then that sexual energy can start to build again. So once you retrain your body, you'll realize there's more potential here to experience more types of orgasms and more types of pleasure than you've even experienced before. I would definitely take the threesome off the table for now, even though you love fantasizing about it, until you guys figure out a new way to expand your sexual repertoire together. And I think you got to bring him into this process. You've been together for 15 years. And I think letting him know that this is what's happened in the past, you feel like it's a cold bucket of water and you're done, which he probably knows, but saying, I'm going to try some of these new things. So the masturbation part you can do on your own, but let him know that you'd like to try new things right after you come to see if you can have a different experience. And I totally think it is possible for you, Myra.
All right, this next one is from Austin, 25, in Louisiana. Hey, Emily, I've been having thoughts lately on my first real ex. I'm currently in a really nice relationship that's doing fine, but it seems lately I can't get my mind away from her. Now, this ex was my first real and longest relationship. The breakup wasn't bad, and we hooked up once or twice afterwards, but it didn't go anywhere. I'm afraid that my mind drifting to the thoughts of my ex have been keeping me from holding a relationship since. Even now, I'm beginning to feel like I'm drifting from my current girlfriend, and I really love her and don't want to lose her. What do you think?
All right, Austin. So just so you know, you're not alone here. Our first boyfriend, our girlfriend, our first relationship is really the one that we hold. It's the most difficult breakup. It's the one we often remember the most because it's the first time we really fell in love, and it's the first time we really went through a breakup. It's a very common pattern to kind of have this euphoric recall that everything we remember about them is amazing, and we put them on this pedestal and we think it was the best relationship and how can we get back to it? But a lot of it just has to do with some nostalgia. And it doesn't necessarily mean just because you're thinking about them all the time that you should be with them. It could mean so many other things. Like maybe you just miss romance. Maybe what you're missing right now is you guys had more romance with that partner and you're not having that now. Or maybe you like the way that she made you feel and you're not necessarily having those feelings right now. You're like, it's essentially there are certain aspects you liked of that relationship that you are telling yourself you're not having now. So it's sort of nostalgic. Now, I think what you could do, another thing is it could also be keeping you safe by constantly having your ex to think about. It's sort of a process that it's keeping you from being able to really commit to your current partner. Maybe you have some fear around your current partner. Maybe you know deep down she's not right for you, or maybe you know deep down she is and you're afraid of those emotions. You're afraid of getting hurt again. You're afraid of really opening your heart again, which is really a process. A lot of us we go through breakup, we shut down, and we're afraid. So all of these things could be going on, but I don't think it necessarily has to do with the fact that you should leave this woman and go be with your ex. I think what it does is just don't fight it, just say, oh, there I am again thinking about my ex. What am I thinking specifically? And then you can go granular. Are you thinking about you and your ex on a vacation together? Are you thinking about things you used to do together? And then you can think, well, I actually want to create new memories with my new partner. What could I do to turn all the attention I'm putting toward the ex towards my current relationship? Because then you'll know that you're actually trying to make this one work, and then you'll be able to really make a great decision. Is this person for me or not, without having the shadow of the ex hanging over you? So that's my best advice for you, Austin, but don't beat yourself up because we all do this a little bit. Gotta tell you. Never forget that first.
Never. All right. This last one comes to us from Tina, 34, in the United States. Hi, Emily. My husband struggles with anxiety and depression for which he takes medication. As his dose has gone higher, his libido is nearly non-existent. Ironically, he hates taking medication. So I'm hoping you can guide us in the direction of a more natural remedy that may help lift him up, pun intended, and get him in the mood. Love your show.
Hey, Tina. Okay, so anxiety is rampant right now. I feel like everybody's got some anxiety, and we keep hearing about it and reading about it. I have anxiety. It's just common, right? The most common thing. It could be for a million different reasons. But let me tell you the best things that I know about anxiety. And it takes work, and it doesn't go away unless you stick with specific practices. Let me get to those in 1 second. But first, about the anxiety. If he has to stay on his medication for anxiety and depression, the first thing he has to do is go to his doctor and let his doctor know that I no longer have a libido. I'm not feeling aroused anymore, can't have an erection, or whatever it is. And then the doctor can play with the medication. He can take them down. He can take them down in some medication. He can bring other medications in. So there's definitely ways to work on this. So many people suffer from these sexual side effects and they don't have to. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, I can tell you from more natural holistic remedies, is breath. Our mind dictates everything that we feel in our body. So if you learn to breathe and to meditate every day, there are so many great apps out there right now. Simple Habit is a great app that you can use because it's like you don't have to think of a meditation routine on your own. You can find one on different apps. He could do it 2 minutes a day. Practice breathing, practice meditation. Movement, also really, really important for anxiety and depression. Yoga, stretching, just moving your body, and also sleep. Sleep is super important too. If we have really good sleep, like 8 hours a night, we will lessen the symptoms of anxiety and depression. And diet as well. If he's drinking a lot of caffeine, a lot of sugars, a lot of foods that are not great for him, that's also going to amp up the anxiety. So I don't know of a natural remedy. CBD, actually many people like CBD. So Veritas Farms is one that we love. Veritas. I like them because they actually have a farm and they make their own CBD, so we know the source. And I know that CBD has helped me taking some of their tinctures, and I think that you can kind of explore that. I mean, if he could try some CBD and that could help him, and that's a more natural remedy, it's a plant, so I think that would be great. Try some of these things out, talk to him about it. First, talk to the doctor. No one should ever stop taking medication without talking to a doctor. And then also, Tina, it's really hard to start new habits. So I know you've heard of breath before. You've heard of meditation. You've heard of yoga. You've probably read about it every time you pick up a magazine. But really, sometimes having a partner do it with us, Tina, so maybe along with your husband, you guys could wake up in the morning and meditate for 5 minutes together. You could go for walks at night, so you're in nature and you're moving. So perhaps there's a way that you can also help him with it, so he's not on his own trying to figure out how to deal with the anxiety and depression, which is also the biggest killers of our sex drive. So I think all of that is tied in, and I think it's great to get more information from the doctor and to work with them. And for more information about Veritas, you can go to sexwithemily.com/Veritas. Thanks for your email. All right, guys, great show. Thank you to the Call Her Daddy women for being on the show. That was a blast. Thank you, everyone, for listening and for supporting the show. I love getting your emails, and it's so great when you subscribe to the podcast. That helps us as well. Wherever you're listening, you subscribe. And also when you tell your friends. In listening to this, maybe there was an email in here that you really thought was helpful for someone to hear. Send it to them. Share it. It's really easy to share podcasts. Tell your friends about it. Spread the word. We so appreciate that. We're releasing 3 podcasts a week, and we do it because we love doing it. So the more you spread the word, the more helpful it is for all of us. So thank you, everyone. Thanks to my amazing listeners and my team, Ken, Kristen, Michelle, producer Jamie, and Michael. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.